make Francisco tell you that it's okay.
All right. Welcome, everyone, to the Sisterhood of the Traveling CPAPs. Tonight, we have Andrew Neighbors, our resident respiratory therapist expert, who is going to compare the two traveling CPAP units. Oh, there's four? Do we sell four?
We do too, but I'm going to bring up four because there's four options in the world. We take care of two, which are the main players in the game, but there are four.
Okay, well, I stand corrected, but I will tell everyone here that one of the two, he's going to talk about four. You get a choice if you win. I'm going to be putting names into my little red hat here. And at the end, we'll go over any questions, give you all the answers, and then I'll draw the winner at the end of Andrew's presentation. Andrew, welcome to the call. Thank you so much.
Awesome.
100. We have 100 people. This is so cool. All right.
All right, so let's get this. So I'll go through the slideshow. I have a slideshow presenting multiple different options for the travel CPAPs. Obviously, with the world of COVID lightening up, so to speak, people are going to be starting to travel. Plus, you do get the people who have not stopped. So you get the people who are pilots or flight attendants that still have to do this for a living, or people who camp, or people who are like, maybe you have a second house that you need to go to, and different variables and reasons why you might need to own a travel CPAP. So I'm going to discuss kind of like what they look like, what their benefits are, some of the perks behind each of the four different models. I will highlight the two that we do carry and discuss them as well. But there are four models that I'm going to go with. And I will go to the slideshow of the Sisterhood of the Traveling PAPs. So what we got, is it working? All right. Sisterhood of the Traveling PAPs. Obviously, travel season this last year has been a mess. Okay, for the people who've been lucky enough to be able to get out of their houses and into maybe a second home or travel throughout the country, even by motorhome, or maybe they had a family that they were comfortable enough to go visiting. Getting a good night's sleep has been essential. Is essential across the board. I mean, the last thing you want to do when you're traveling is sleep poorly. So whether you're camping or vacation rental, getting a travel CPAP machine is a prime space-saving addition to your sleep therapy. So when you ask about, travel CPAPs, what's the best way to get sleep away from, home as possible? Of course, the travel CPAP machines are small, they're compact. They come with their own travel cases. They're easy to bring on as carry-ons for your equipment. And there's a couple key features on each of the devices that I'm going to touch base on that may direct you for the direction that you want in your travel machine. The four machines I'm going to touch base on is the Philips Respironics DreamStation Go. This is a device we do carry. I'm also going to discuss the ResMed Air Mini. It is another device that we carry. There's another one called made by Human Design Medical. Is the Z2 Auto Travel CPAP. We don't carry it, but it is another option. And then, of course, the Somnetics Transcend 3 Auto Mini CPAP. So some statistics about the devices, okay? You have the DreamStation and the Air Mini. We got to talk about the decibels of the system, okay? Now, the DreamStation, of course, and the Air Mini are higher decibels in sound than the Z2 and the Transcend. To give it a perspective on sounds, most patients are using either a ResMed or a Respironics system. The ResMeds are typically the black, the Respironics are white. From a decibel sound point, these machines are rated at 24 to 26 decibels. To go up 4 decibels to compare the differences is super marginal. one kind of an analogy that I've given to the travel machines is that they kind of sound like a past generation CPAP. While they were quiet in a way, they're louder than current setups. Size-wise, the DreamStation Go is the biggest device of the four. It is a little bit heftier in its size. The ResMed Air Mini and the Z2 are pretty tiny. The Transcend, it has a little bit more bulk with the device. They are all auto-adjusting for altitude, which is super important. I mean, obviously, if you have a vacation home in the mountains and you bring a machine, a CPAP machine that does not adjust for altitude, even if it's an auto-adjusting machine, the machine's output in pressure is going to be reduced depending on how high in altitude you go. The DreamStation, the Air Mini have a compatible humidification system. The Z2 has a built-in system, and the Transcend unfortunately does not. They're all FAA approved as a free carry-on item. It does not sound, or they're not. They don't cost anything to. They don't cost anything to bring on. They don't count for carry-on. Obviously, you can put them in your carry-on items, but most of these come with their own carrying case. These customer ratings that I received, I got them off an online site. So they're subjective. You know, the DreamStation was 5 out of 5, 4.6 out of 5, 4.4 out of 5, 4 out of 5. They're all, I got this off of an online review site of people who go in and review their stuff. Now, travel-friendly CPAP machines obviously are lightweight, portable, and you know, if you're consistently flying, these are particularly big machines for you. I had a pilot the other day, and he was using a main system, and I said, "Why don't you look at getting a travel machine?" And I talked to him about, you know, one of the devices, and he's basically ready to jump at getting it, considering how small or how limited he is about bringing things with him. These devices can be adapted to plug into a car cigarette lighter. They can run off the car battery. I mean, if you're doing a long road trip and someone's sleeping in the car, if you're sleeping next to your husband or your wife or something, and they're sitting snoring up a storm, you can always stick the CPAP on them and quiet them down, I guess. They have DC cable converters. They have setups a lot of times where you can go directly to a car battery, a deep submarine battery. There are actual physical batteries that can be linked to these machines for camping trips. I know a lot of long flights and such, they have plugins and such. One variable that I have come into experience about people who try to use a CPAP on a plane, a regular machine is kind of a pain in the butt to pull apart. There's a lot of moving parts and it's a big system. And where are you going to put it? Your tray table? Not a lot of room there. Now, the travel machines, they would fit easily either under your seat or on the tray table or even in the back pocket of the flight or the plane. And some airlines would require you as a patient to ask prior or get approval prior to use the travel machine on the plane. Okay. It's completely safe, but some airlines have rules. Okay. So let's go over some of the common features of these travel machines. DreamStation Go. Okay. It's a new system. It's generally, you know, it's an ultimate machine for air travelers. Okay. This machine, it's obviously lightweight. It's got a square, sleek appearance. It's probably about 3 inches tall. It's maybe about the size of it's a little smaller than, like I say, a Kindle, but it's a little thicker, just of course, and it can be plugged into a USB charging port. It has a micro tubing, a shorter tubing for easy convenience if you're on a plane. And it's a simple design it has a color display screen. You can see the programming and see what the system's doing. Of course, it is 30 decibels. This is the device with the compatible humidifier. This device will actually use physical water, which is a massive benefit for a lot of people that need a good amount of humidity. If you tend to be a person that dries out a lot, this is a device that's going to be more friendly than some of the other travel devices. They do make a battery, the DreamStation Go overnight battery, and there are other batteries available. The Metastrom Pilot 24 Lite It's a commonly used battery that I've seen, and it can be purchased on Amazon. There's adapter kits for cigarette lighters. And of course you can get like of course like a portable power outlet for like or travel inverters and stuff like that. Some of the benefits, of course, it has an overnight battery, up to 10 hours of therapy on battery. Okay. It's an easy carry-on, smaller tube is shorter tubing. It is a user-friendly touchscreen, and it can track your sleep statistics. Its drawback is it is a little louder than the other couple of the other systems, but it is still, again, very quiet. At just under 2 pounds, it's not too heavy, but it is a little larger than the other devices. But it is easy to throw in your carry-on and use for a long flight. It does charge in 5 hours, making it a pretty quick and easy machine to travel with, especially if you need to charge it if you're camping. And it uses a sleep tracker on the teller's touchscreen, so you can track your quality of sleep while you're not at home. The ResMed Air Mini. This particular travel machine, I will honestly say I have the most experience with. It is super user-friendly, simple, and it's easy. It's small, it's tiny, it's just over half a pound in weight. It uses these Humidity X waterless humidifier humidity components that's compatible with the nasal masks only. If you are a full face mask user, it is a dry air system, picking up the humidity from the climate environment that you happen to be in. These nasal mask styles with the Humidex waterless component, what they do is, instead of the venting of the mask coming directly out of the mask where it blows and it comes across the room, ResMed's designed the venting to come down about a few inches down off the front of the mask, and there's a capsule there, which opens up. This little disc sits in the capsule. It's a waterless humidifier. It basically regathers your exhaled humidity that you breathe out, reuses on the next breath. Usually takes about 10 or 15 minutes for it to saturate. I've sat and breathed on one of these machines before with a nasal pillow style mask, and super comfortable. The humidity started kicking in. I could definitely tell I was breathing more humidity with the system. This is a picture of course, of a person traveling with it while they're, in an airplane. You can see the person has their phone app set up. There's a phone app. You can track your data and progress. No different, really, than the app that's used for the regular AirView or the AirSense 10 system. This person's using a nasal mask, as you can see on the table there. And if you look, coming off the front of that nasal mask is where the humidity disc goes. It is, again, 30 decibels, same as the Philips Respironics system. This is a device we use. It is, of course, FAA approved. Using it on the plane, as I mentioned, you definitely want pre-approval. And then there's, of course, a handful of batteries that still work with this system. Again, we dive back into that Metastrom Pilot 24 battery. And of course, there's a couple other CPAP batteries, inverter kits, a couple different ones you could run into a cigarette lighter plug and such like that. Its benefits for, again, air traveler, camper friendly. The Bluetooth connectivity from this device will sync your sleep data to your phone. And one nice feature is you sync the sleep data from the machine to your phone, and it will upload the data to the cloud into AirView, very similar to what the main ResMed system does, and it can be clinically reviewed in office by me or one of the other providers just to test the effectiveness of the system. It does work up to the highest altitude at 8,500 feet. I've had people in the past who go to Colorado and such and say, well, where am I staying is at 10,000 feet. Yeah, you're not going to be getting as much pressure at 10,000 feet, but comparatively speaking, this system will be able to output and keep up with the highest amount of altitude out of all the 4 systems. It does fit in the palm of your hand. It's very tiny. It does add the lack of an actual humidifier component. You don't have to worry about water, which is a bonus, especially when you're traveling. And it does connect to the Bluetooth. You can track the leak, your usage hours, apneas, events per hour, and such like that while you're traveling. The next device is the Z2 Auto CPAP. It is an update from the Z1. Okay. It is very small and light as well. It uses an extended power shell that the system can be kind of directly plugged into, and it can be, used. It uses a waterless humidifier as well. It's not as good as the ResMed system in regards to how the humidifier does work, but it is better than nothing, I guess you can say. This device we do not carry. We do not service this device. The only people that service this device is physically the manufacturer for this device. Okay. It is just an available device that is on the market. This is, of course, a picture of it in its travel case. You have, of course, the tubing, the power supply, the little white gig that's in the bag is the power shell that it slides into, and it can add the extended life of the battery. It does work quite long, and of course, it would use all the other battery options that are available, inverters and plugs and such. But the Z1 and Z2 power shell works directly with this system. It is quiet at 26 decibels. It does do the auto adjusting with altitude to 8,000 feet, and it has a Bluetooth connectivity with an app on your phone as well. It's a good carry-on, easy for camping. It does have a pressure relief with it. The other models do as well, but this has a pressure relief. The Z2 Auto CPAP is, I used to recommend a lot of patients to get this machine before the ResMed model came out. Particularly because the Z1 I felt to be better than the Transcend model, especially at that time. The Transcend model was, they were the only two original travel machines years ago. And I sent a lot of people to buy the Z1 instead of the Transcend system. This is the new Transcend system. It's a Transcend 3. Funny story about the original Transcend. When this device, the original Transcend first came out, it was designed to be worn on top of your head and strapped to your head like a harness. And then it had a mask coming off the front that would go in the nose or over the nose. Literally, you're turning a CPAP on and wearing it on your head. That's not going to be a quiet design. I first saw it probably, I would say, going on about 10 years ago, and I thought it was the silliest thing on I'm like, who would wear this? Who's going to wear a CPAP on their head? They obviously did redesigns and took away that feature because obviously nobody did it, but they liked the size of the small system. It is a quiet and it has a low decibel. It does have a multi-night battery, and it can work with a Somnetics solar charger that works with the Transcend batteries. This may be a very solid machine for somebody who's a backpacker. Okay, somebody who needs to use the machine when they're camping and they're completely away from power but need to recharge the system. Okay, it's a quiet, low decibel system. It doesn't have humidity, so it is completely dry system regardless of the mask style that you're going to use. It is an auto adjusting machine. All these CPAP machines are auto adjusting CPAPs. Okay, they don't make any other styles besides auto adjusting CPAPs. I find this one to be a little bit better for off the grid stuff just because it can be compatible with a solar charger. I mean, obviously you can set up your own solar charging setups if you're pretty, handy with that sort of stuff. You probably could figure out how to power it other ways, but this is a direct compatible kit. It's pretty cheap value wise. It's not an expensive system. So money wise, it might be a direction you go. It is small, coarse, quiet. It does a pressure relief on the system, and it's a dry system, so you're not going to have any risk of having bacteria or mold growing in the system. It does make it ideal for backpacking, as I mentioned. And obviously, wherever you're traveling, there is a CPAP travel machine for you, whether it's at home or whether you're traveling to, like, you're a firefighter or you have a second house or something. You don't have to sacrifice your treatment to be off a machine and just suffer for a night or two because you didn't want to pack up the main system. So that being said, we can dive into some questions.
All right.
So we got definitely some Q&A going on here.
Yes, we do. Well, you look at the chat and I will do the questions. I have, okay, legit 102 names, everyone. Okay, I'm just picking a name. Hopefully everyone can see. This is the real deal here. You want to look at you got to be present to win.
I have a Roberto Aranda, who's a paramedic working 18 to 24-hour shifts, taking naps. The travel machine wouldn't have a problem keeping up with your usage because you'll be plugging it into a wall. It's not going to have any issues with powering because you're a paramedic. You're going to be plugging in a direct power source. We did have a question that I remember I had Lori write down,
Yes.
and it was regarding, could you use a travel machine as your main system?
Yeah, daily use, right? Yeah.
Scrap the regular CPAPs, travel machine only. Could you use it? Absolutely. Should you use it? Probably not, and here's why. First and foremost, the reliability in these travel machines are definitely not rated as long as a regular main system. They use a lot of the same motor components that are slightly tweaked to shrink up the size of the machine. But the main reason why you wouldn't want to use one for regular daily use is these machines are not paid for by an insurance company. They're not billed to insurance, which means all of the components that go to it are not billed to insurance. So you buy this travel machine and you literally are paying for every item out of your own pocket.
Unless you have an HSA, right? If you have an HSA.
They would have travel machine components. I'm not sure if the FSAs will, probably do. But again, it's not a billable item. They're considered luxury items. So could you use it every day? Yes. Should you? No.
All right. Stay on for the questions. I have a winner, and the winner I can see is still on. So don't leave. All right.
I have another question from a Donna Gamage. Do I need another sleep study in order to get my air bumped? Not necessarily. You probably should see one of our providers and have your machine reviewed in office. You can schedule an appointment with me. I can review your download and see what your issues are and why you might need just a simple pressure change.
People are asking like how to get a machine. So valleysleeptherapy.com, and I will put it in the chat to everybody. The two machines, the Dream Station Go and the Air Mini, are both on Valley Sleep Therapy's website. And really important, if you use the code DREAM, DREAM, you will get 10% off right now. So I'll put valleysleeptherapy.com in the chat, and I'll go ahead and announce the winner, and we'll get to the rest of the questions. Cliff N, see, you're the winner, and I will email you to get you the details on how to get your machine. Hopefully you have a valid CPAP prescription with us. All right, so
so I have a
go ahead.
Bettis, it says, how do I determine machine adjust altitude? Almost all of the new main models will adjust altitude automatically. I'd have to know what machine you have. If you go online and search on the manufacturer's website, they can definitely tell you if the machine adjusts. Any new machines on the horizon, Susan Chang? I hope so. I really do. Unfortunately, these main systems are getting a little long in the tooth, in my opinion. They've been out for some years now. I bet COVID shut down a lot of this stuff. Prices, Kim Ecott, prices of a travel machine can range between $600 and $900 on general. Bruce Crymel, why are they not covered by insurance? Because the manufacturers of these machines, of these travel machines, have never gone to Medicare to submit for billing codes. It's a manufacturer thing. They want to make them luxury items. Christine Netzel, how many days can I use a travel unit? Well, every day. Catherine Myers, do any take a full mask? They will all take a full mask. Every single one of them was compatible with full face masks. Some machines are strictly compatible with models that are specific to that machine, such as the Air Mini, but all of them will be compatible with a full mask. Kathy Bruno, how do I get a prescription? Schedule an appointment with one of our providers and we can get you a script.
If anybody here needs an appointment, if you just raise your hand, I know I have some hands raised right now. I can lower those. If you would like a scheduler to call you, you can just send me a chat or you can raise your hand. Oh, raising hands. Okay. I will have a scheduler reach out to you to get an updated prescription. You guys can get those done online. You don't even have to leave your house. We can do telemedicine and a provider will call you to get that done. All right. Andrew, are you on the chat still or the questions?
Still on the chat, still going through that. Holly Corton, will these work without a problem with international converter for electric plugs? I'm assuming you're talking about traveling to Europe. Some of the models actually have a converter in the device. They actually come with a power inverter with it. You'd have to get the wall plug adapter for all the weird plugs they have, but some of the devices will be direct compatible. Average lifespan in hours for a CPAP, Doug Schober. From what I typically see, a main system can last somewhere between 15 and 20,000 hours, which generally falls in the 5 to 7 year category. That's actually going to be one of our talks coming up in a couple weeks. Osmani Paes, how hard is it to adjust the pressure on machines? Can the user make changes to the pressure? Most of these machines, it's not difficult to adjust, and the user should not be making adjustments without clinical knowledge of how or what they should be doing. Most of the pressure adjustments to these machines should be handled by a certified technician and somebody who understands why or what these pressure changes can do to you. Bruce Kremel, I want to use the travel version with the Humid X. I hate the humidity. Why would insurance not cover travel as the primary? As I mentioned, the manufacturers have never gone to Medicare to get billing codes for them. Eric Alfrey, can you use the same mask or a different set? Most of these machines will be compatible with whatever mask you're using. Denise Bennett, do you sell the cleaning machines? Will a 10% code work? We do sell the cleaning machines. I don't know if the code will work. I don't know what code it is. You would want to contact Valley Sleep Therapy and discuss the So Clean system that they sell. And I don't know if they would accept the code. You'd have to call them. We got a William Swayze. Is the Dream unit the one recommended for humidity? That's going to be the one that's going to deliver the best humidity because it uses the most amount of water. So I would say, yeah. How large is the power pack cord on the Dream Station Go? It's about the same size as the actual physical unit. So you have the Dream Station and then it sits on top of it. James Sharman, are the billing codes now? Nope, no billing codes for these machines yet. George Love, telehealth appointment. I think Lori covered on that. This is getting long. What is the best portable unit? Well, it's a matter of figuring out what the best one is for you. I prefer the ResMed and the Respironics systems. How does the data get uploaded for compliance? Heather Brown. The ResMed system will automatically upload it to the cloud if you sync it to your phone. The Transcend and the Z2, they have their own software systems. We don't use those machines, so we don't have those as software. So if you're needing compliance and you use one of those systems, you have to go to the manufacturer to get your compliance from them.
Well, and Andrew, I mean, it's important that if people are in their compliance period, right, they have to wear their unit that their insurance is
paying for.
Right. They're not going to take the Dream Station or the Air Mini data as part of your compliance because these are cash pay machines only. So if you want your insurance to pay for your machine, it's super important that you wear the machine that is provided for you that's connected on the modem. So these are travel only. Like just think of fun and play. They're not you can't use any of this data to go to your insurance. You can use it just to see how you're doing.
They're clear for clinical review.
Yeah.
Bruce, why do devices need to be cleaned? Because you're wearing a mask on your face every night. It's you got skin, you got oil, you got everything. Yeah, gotta clean these things, especially if they have humidity. Humidity can breed mold, bacteria. It's like would you wear the same pair of underwear every day? No, you would absolutely not. So yeah, you'd want to clean your stuff.
A lot of questions about cleaning. Maybe we'll do a So Clean giveaway in May. Let's do that again. We haven't done one of those in a while. So, Andrew, someone's asking, do you recommend So Clean?
Sure, absolutely. The So Clean is a great system.
We'll talk about that on another webinar. Stay tuned. But yeah, we definitely recommend anything that will clean your device.
Yes. Bruce, about Inspire. Lori just talks about Inspire about once a week. So maybe
Wednesday, 5:30. Join us about Inspire on Wednesday, 5:30. That's online, valleysleepcenter.com/events. But you can also reach out to me directly about Inspire because I have it. So.
Okay. All right. So I am in the question and answer right now. You want me to go through those?
Yeah, if you don't mind, because we got the chat. Thank you, everyone. Great questions, by the way.
All right. Rick Greenwald, how do you get an error message? You got to go to the manufacturer for that. Manufacturers are the only ones that repair these systems. They may not even touch it for repair. You may have to just buy a new machine. Mike Hoekstra, does a travel CPAP work the same as a regular CPAP? Well, if you're using a CPAP, yes. If you're using a BiPAP, they do not make travel BiPAPs or ASVs, only travel CPAP/APAP. In April, can you use a travel machine as a permanent CPAP? I meant to answer this question. And Lori DeMar, same question. Can you use a travel CPAP as your primary? Answered that. Major insurances cover, no. HSAs.
Yeah, use your HSA card. If you guys have HSA cards, this is a great way to get it covered.
So the Christine Austin, but they're more appropriate for international travel. The voltage would be different. As I mentioned, most of them have power inverter boxes that will convert the voltages to what the
it's made in Australia, so they're just get little things and plug them in over there. You got a little adapter.
Lee Carpenter, frequently traveled Telluride, elevation 9,500 feet. As I mentioned about a couple people that have traveled to places in Colorado, Telluride being one of them, where you're hitting up to 10,000 feet. The ResMed system is going to be your best bet for these travel for them. It's going to be the closest in altitude to that environment. You will get a subtle decrease in pressure output, but definitely better than the other systems.
We also have free shipping right now. Free shipping and the word dream when you check out of your cart at valleysleeptherapy.com will get you 10% off.
Donald Callaway, this is an interesting question. I have no answer for this one because I wouldn't even have thought about it. Airlines require a mask to be worn to fly. How are these machines using a mask requirement if you use nasal pillows, nasal mask setup? No clue. Good question. I would definitely call the airline.
That's a great question because well, of course you can't go to Australia right now, but I mean, I've seen a lot of people wear CPAP on the flight from LAX to Sydney. And yeah, how do you wear your CPAP?
Because it is vented, it does blow out. I don't know. Kim Ecott, prices between $600 and $900, depending on the model. Lamar Dunlap, is there a particular model you recommend? I recommend the DreamStation Go or the ResMed Air Mini, depending on what your needs are.
So DreamStation Go has a battery option. Air Mini does not, right? That's kind of a major difference.
Not a direct battery, not one made by ResMed. Respironics makes a battery for their component. ResMed you buy an aftermarket battery, which, yeah, not made by ResMed. Best option for a full face and a humidifier. Best full face mask is the one you're going to wear.
Yeah.
There isn't a best one. It's just like saying there isn't a best car, but the best mask option, I like the F30, F20, F30,
Is that
AirFit.
the micro, what is that?
The memory foam one,
Memory foam.
that one's all right. And then the one that goes under the nose around the mouth, the hose, not the head.
I did find that memory foam to be the most comfortable.
It's definitely not uncomfortable.
Mhm.
Can you use nasal pillows with the ResMed? Yes, they are directly compatible with the AirFit P10. For machines that don't add moisture, which suggests adding a humidifier to add moisture back. Well, that's kind of an interesting question. Where would you add the humidifier? Because if you're adding a humidifier, now you're adding more size and bulk to the system. I don't think that's the direction you're wanting to go. If you're really desperate for humidity, maybe stick with your main system. Jeannie Pritchard, no, they're not BiPAP compatible. April Guido, the ResMed does take a full face mask. It was compatible with the AirFit F20 and AirFit F30 series masks. David Kirch, the Bluetooth data transmissions for the insurance, losing insurance and during usage and such. Well, again, as Lori touched, the compliance periods are usually only in the beginning phases of usage. As a person is outside the compliance, you can use either one of these machines. I mean, I have patients that are DOT truck drivers or FAA pilots. They have to adhere to certain compliance yearly, consistently, and they can use travel machines and their main system bent back and forth. You just have to cumulate, put the two reports together. In that way, you can, combine the usage. George Love, will you walk us through the machine once we buy one? Yes, we will.
Absolutely. Yeah, that's a given. We have a visit with a respiratory therapist, either in person or online.
Donald Calloway, I have a prescription. I've been told who I need to contact to get supplies. Contact our office so we can figure out what insurance you have and we can connect you with a vendor that will work with your insurance.
And if you raise your hand, I'll make sure someone calls you. I have 5 people with raised hands. So if you want to raise your hand, I'll make sure someone calls you.
How often do they need to be cleaned? Generally, the mask should be cleaned at least once a week. What machine would you recommend for a week river trip down the Grand Canyon?
Oh, take me.
Yeah, no kidding. That Transcend has a solar charger, the solar charging battery compatibility. That one would probably be a good one. If you're just going for a week and that's the only traveling you're doing, it's going to be a tough swing to think about buying a machine. But if you travel more often, I would definitely say look into just any of the travel machines that's battery compatible. But the Transcend has the solar ability to recharge. Wendy Davis, all of these machines can be used by children. Technically, yes. CPAP can be prescribed to children. We do sleep studies on children, and as you know, stinky as it is for a child to be put on a CPAP, they can use it. Mark Einstock, the Fisher Paykel full face worked for me, retired RT. Fisher makes a solid mask. There's a couple new full face masks on the market from Fisher that are nice, real comfortable designs. All right. Yeah, I think that's about it.
So again, valleysleeptherapy.com. If you want to order a unit, Dream will get you 10% off, free shipping. If you need an appointment, please raise your hand now, or you can type your phone number in the chat. I'll make sure a scheduler reaches out to you if you need an updated prescription. Congratulations, Cliff. And thank you so much, Andrew. I can't wait for our next giveaway. This was fantastic.
Awesome. Thank you all very much.
All right. Have a great evening, everybody.
Thank you. Bye-bye.